Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have one more video for you right before the holidays. I thought it'd be really good to do a little bit of trial and error when it comes to drawing. A lot of my students do not do more than one draft to their drawings. They really don't. They like doing, their first draft and be happy with it and then hand it in, instead of really taking it, take some feedback, and then redo it so they can improve, right? So I wanted to do a little exercise on either architecture or still life or people. Specifically people in perspective. So the first drawing that I did, as you can see on my overhead capture, was a piece of architecture. This is a church steeple in my neighborhood. It was really quite nice. The moon was out at dusk. In the background. So what I did was I wanted to do it twice, at least. So I wanted to do it in two different mediums. This is pen and ink, and then a little bit of water to do the light and shadow, and then the second one was watercolor. So my first draft with the pen and ink, it turned out okay. I liked the dimensions of the church steeple, love the moon in the background, but I found that the church steeple was a little bit crooked. So it wasn't quite symmetrical, and especially around the dome area right here. So what I did in my second draft, that was my critique to myself, was the church steeple was a little bit wonky. So I drew a nice straight line with a ruler and worked my way out left and right to make sure that the symmetry of the tower was good. And that straight line really helped me make sure that the dome was symmetrical and the second tier of the tower was there and the windows as well. So I found that worked out quite well. So next assignment was, I did this 3 times. I took a picture of one of my neighborhoods in Montreal. I actually went down to Chinatown, took a couple of pictures of a couple of people walking down one of the main streets there. And I wanted to make it look like it was really in proportion and in perspective down the street. So my little rule of thumb to get people into perspective is that their heads all should line up with themselves and the horizon line. So tops of their heads in their horizon line, or maybe through their faces, but you just got to be consistent on making sure that the tops of their heads are at the horizon line and they sort of line up with one another. So I have the lady here in the foreground and the 2 people coming towards her in the background. For this particular one, I think I made the people in the background way too large. The scale was a little off. Their heads lined up, but they seemed too close to one another. So, and my second draft is, I think I got the proportion of the people right, but I think they were a little bit too far off to the left. So it didn't look like they were going down in a good plane. So their heads lined up with the horizon line, but they were a little bit too off to the left, and I don't think it got the didn't get the effect right. I got the reflections in the water. It was a really wet day, and then I had some architectural elements that worked out really quite well. But I don't think I got the perfect positioning of the people. My third draft, I think, was probably the most successful, mostly because I was able to critique myself and really look at what I was doing. So I think I got the proportion of the people really nicely, as you can see, and their heads were all lining up with the horizon line, and the size of the people in the background were quite good, and I got them off to the left and off to the right just fine. The only thing I was not happy with was the feet, especially in the lady in the foreground. And I didn't quite get the positioning of the feet quite well. But the people in the background, I think they do look like they're walking. One foot is in motion and lifted off the ground. And then I think I got the reflections in the wet pavement quite well. It was really wet that day, really gray. So I thought maybe I could probably add a little bit more architectural elements in the background, but the main focus was getting the people just right. So there's that. So I thought this was a great assignment for kids that really do need to sit down and do first draft, do third, even a third draft, maybe even a fourth draft if you really get them going. To really critique themselves and to look at it, and these projects not being a one-off and first try is the project that they hand in. Have a fantastic holiday. What you have looking forward to on my channel at least is I'm going to be developing my own line of superheroes. They're going to be a little bit cross between X-Men and G.I. Joe. So I'm really going to look into costume. It's going to be sort of like a World War II retro fit and sort of steampunk, that sort of thing. I'm really trying to get back into character drawing and a little bit of landscape in the background. So look forward to that, and I'll be posting that over the holidays with some instructional videos and some commentary. So have a fantastic, thank you for coming into the channel, looking into things, and hopefully you can apply some of these videos to your classroom. See you later, happy holidays.